The U.S. Armed Forces were segregated, with most African American personnel serving in units separate from whites. Only a very small number of African Americans were in positions of authority in the military. As Commander-in-Chief, President Harry Truman ordered an end to the segregation.
At the end of World War II in Mississippi, black soldiers were pulled out of army trucks and beaten. When Truman got word of this incident, he was shaken up.
My very stomach turned. Whatever my inclinations as a native of Missouri might have been, as president, I know this is bad. I shall fight to evils like this.
December 6, 1946, President Truman appointed a distinguished panel to serve as the President's Committee on Civil Rights. On October 29, 1947, the committee issued a report to secure these rights, which dealt with segregation in the nation, specifically condemning segregation in the armed forces.
We as a committee recommend more adequate means and procedures for the protection of the civil rights of the people of the United States.
Mr. President, you must take legislation and administrative action to end immediately all discrimination and segregation based on race, color, creed, or national origin in all branches of the armed services.
We propose anti-lynching and anti-poll tax laws, a permanent FEPC, and strengthening the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice.
In February 2, 1948, President Truman met with Congress at U.S. Capitol. He called on both houses to enact all the recommendations he mentioned.
To the Congress of the United States. This nation was founded by men and women who sought these shores that they might enjoy greater freedom and greater opportunity than they had known before. The founders of the United States proclaimed to the world the American belief that all men are created equal and that governments are instituted to secure the inalienable rights with which all men are endowed. Unfortunately, there still are flagrant examples of discrimination which are utterly contrary to our ideals. Not all groups of our population are free from the fear of violence. Not all groups are free to live and work where they please or to improve their conditions of life by their own efforts. Not all groups enjoy the full privileges of citizenship and participation in the government under which they live. The federal government has a clear duty to see that constitutional guarantees of individual liberties and of equal protection under the laws are not denied or abridged anywhere in our union. That duty is shared by all three branches of government, but it can be fulfilled only if the Congress enacts modern, comprehensive civil rights laws, adequate to the needs of the day and demonstrating our continuing faith in the free way of life. To be effective in those efforts, we must protect our civil rights so that by providing all our people with the maximum enjoyment of personal freedom and personal opportunity, we shall be a stronger nation, stronger in our leadership, stronger in our moral position, stronger in the deeper satisfactions of a united citizenry. We know the way, we need only the will.
However, Southern senators disagreed with Truman's recommendations and so threatened a filibuster. Realizing that Congress would not pass laws to enact his suggestions, Truman moved ahead on civil rights by using his executive powers.
On July 26, 1948, President Truman issued Executive Order 9981, stated that there shall be equality of treatment and opportunity for all persons in the armed forces without regard to race, color, religion, or national region. It also established a committee to examine the rules, practices, and procedures of the armed services and recommend ways to make desegregation a reality. Executive Order 9981 actually had a little immediate effect on the armed forces. Neither the Army nor the Navy planned to alter their existing racial policies. On the other hand, the Air Force quickly complied with the order and revised its racial policies. By the end of the Korean War in 1953, almost all the military was integrated, with 95% African Americans serving in integrated units in the U.S. Army. With the military integrating, this showed Americans outside armed services the possibility of desegregation in public life, giving blacks more equality.